Information can be presented differently depending on who's going to read it and how the reader is going to use it. We usually describe this as three categories: popular, trade, and scholarly. Each of these has a different intended audience and a different purpose. They're not usually labeled, so you need to know how to spot what is popular versus trade versus scholarly literature. In college, your professors will usually want you to use scholarly sources, though trade is sometimes acceptable and popular is occasionally acceptable. It's not that popular sources are automatically terrible and scholarly sources are always perfect. It's just that scholarly sources usually have more expert reviewing and hopefully less bias because they're not trying to sell ads. All of these, popular, trade, and scholarly, can come in many different formats, including books, articles, web pages, and more. They can all be either in print or online. Popular sources are written for non-experts. They're easier to understand and usually more entertaining. Their real purpose is usually to make money. You often see ads published along with the content. It's harder to rely on them because they don't have a lot of fact-checking and could easily be biased. Professors usually don't want you to use popular sources because of this. However, they can be useful for current events topics or for getting an idea about a topic to pick. Trade sources are slightly more formal than popular sources. They're meant for professionals who work in a specific field. For example, a trade website for teachers might include a lesson plan idea, reviews of new children's books, or a summary of the major points from a national conference. These are useful for seeing what's trendy, important, or controversial in a certain field. Trade sources may be acceptable to use in your paper. Check with your professor. Most of the time, professors want you to use scholarly sources in your work. Scholarly sources are written by researchers for researchers. It's how researchers communicate new findings and developments to each other. Scholarly sources are written in a very formal way that can be hard to understand. They almost always list lots of references and have extensive fact-checking ahead of time, which helps reduce bias and improve reliability. They don't have ads, which can make them very expensive. Luckily, your library can help you access many articles for free through the library catalog or databases.